He quickly said to Zhang Xiao and the others, "I'll go out with you." But just as he was about to leave, someone grabbed his collar. I held onto his shirt, pulling him toward the inside seat. Then I walked up to Zhang Xiao, staring coldly at them. With an icy tone, I said, "Repeat what you just said." Maybe it was the chill I gave off, but Zhang Xiao and the others felt the pressure from me. A sense of fear rose in their hearts. One of them stammered, "Isn't it true though? Everyone in school knows about your stuff. We can't even talk about it. Besides, we're here for Lin Luji. What does it have to do with you?" I curled my lips coldly and turned my head slightly. "Because you're disturbing my sleep. I'm not a patient person. Either you leave on your own, or..." Double quotes as I spoke. I picked up the textbook on the desk and rolled it up, clearly implying I was about to act. "I'll personally escort you out." The way I looked made it clear I wasn't joking with them. The rolled-up book slapped into my palm repeatedly, my sharp gaze fixed on the group in front of me. I started counting down. Class was about to start, and students were beginning to find their seats. They looked over curiously. One of the boys behind Zhang Xiao glanced around, then leaned in to whisper something in his ear. It was like he found a way to back out gracefully. Zhang Xiao glared unwillingly at Lin Luji behind me, then left with a warning remark, strutting away with his group in arrogance. I sneered coldly, then tossed the book back onto the desk. Laying back down and resuming my nap, Lin Luji stared the whole time, completely at a loss. He wanted to thank me for stepping in, but seeing me already lying down again, he didn't dare disturb me. He had no choice. Lin Luji had no choice but to continue sitting next to me. In the original story, my grades were poor most of the time during class. I wouldn't even show up in the classroom. The teachers often turned a blind eye to my frequent absences, let alone saying anything about sleeping in class. Today, the professor couldn't come for some reason, and her student came to teach instead. When the class bell rang, I slowly lifted my head. Rubbing my eyes, I leaned over to the textbook Lin Luji brought for me. In a soft voice, I said, "Thanks." Lin Luji was a bit flattered, quickly waving his hand, "No need to thank me." I lazily flipped open the book, pretending I was going to seriously pay attention in class. Just then, a sarcastic voice came from the podium. "So our school's internet-famous young master finally decided to show up. Is it because he's ready to turn over a new leaf and study hard? That's why people should have self-awareness. No matter how good your background is, stay low-key. If all you rely on is family background, you don't deserve a good partner." From the senior's words, it wasn't hard to hear the hostility toward me, meeting his mocking gaze. I slightly curled my lips, then leaned back in my seat, book still in hand. I stared directly at him. He looked to be in his early 20s, fashionably dressed, wearing quite a few brand names. Although I wasn't into brands myself, I could tell at a glance that the ones he wore were among the cheapest. What I found interesting, though, was that although he was a few years older than Su Wanli, he had a great academic advisor. In academic discussions, he had met Su Wanli several times. Most likely, he also had a bit of a thing for Su Wanli. Originally today, out of respect for the teacher, I showed up even though I didn't like studying. But if someone insists on walking into my line of fire, then I won't waste the opportunity. After all, I still have a mission. The target is in the school. Thinking of that, I let out a slight smile. I said lightly and cheerfully, "What? Are you one of the thousands of male fans of Su Wanli too? What a pity then. I was just lucky to be born right and do nothing, yet still become her rightful fiancé. By your logic, instead of mocking me here, you should go study hard and work on finding some academic topics you can talk to Su Wanli about. Show up more often in front of her. Maybe she even remember your name." "What nonsense are you spouting?" The boy was struck right in the heart. Like a wild cat whose tail got stepped on, he bristled immediately. I chuckled softly, as if chatting with a friend. What's wrong with liking someone? It's not embarrassing. Besides, Su Wanli is indeed outstanding. Her family background, talent, appearance, intelligence, and abilities, all flawless. You liking her only proves my fiancé is exceptional. It's not like I'm going to eat you, right? The boy's face turned red. He had thought this time I would just silently endure it like I always did. Never expected I'd humiliate him in front of the whole class. Why so quiet now? Weren't you talkative just now? Could it be I hit too close to home? Uncomfortable, are we? I crossed my legs, with an air of careless defiance. Continuing, you said your professor asked you to entertain guests. Then just do your task properly. Why mess with me? You can't win in an argument. Your family background can't compare to mine. And aside from good grades, what do you have? Do you think these things you wear, those low-end brand names you scavenged from second-hand markets, really mean anything? I show no mercy. As I tore down the last bit of the boy's dignity, the boy stood on the podium, feeling the stares of the whole class. It felt like being stripped bare. He clenched his fists tightly, standing there awkwardly for a moment. In the end, he couldn't take it and dashed out the door. Seeing him run away, I let out a disinterested TSK. If nothing unexpected happens, my second sister should show up soon. Kind of looking forward to it. Our first meeting. What kind of surprise will she bring me? As expected, just like I thought. That boy exaggerated what happened earlier and told his professor. Coincidentally, his professor was the overprotective type. It wasn't long before the matter reached Zhao Ruoyo. When I was called to the office, it already felt like a courtroom trial. Zhao Ruoyo is 27 this year and holds the youngest professor position at the university. She studied and developed her career abroad for years. Later, she achieved outstanding academic results, and upon returning home, was appointed as a professor. Her appearance resembles Zhao Qingyun's, but her temperament is quite different. Compared to the domineering eldest sister and the forensic doctor third sister, Zhao Ruoyo gives off a gentle and scholarly aura. Looking at this second sister I met for the first time, I felt a sense of admiration in my eyes. The Zhao family really has good genes. Among all the kids, each excels in their own field. Highly accomplished. Only the original host was a piece of trash. Professor Zhao, he's here. Speak up then, said an old man in his 50s. A few strands of gray hair stood atop his head, and he wore thick old-fashioned glasses. Dressed in a black Zhongshan suit, his expression was stern. When Zhao Ruoyo glanced at me calmly, a trace of subtle contempt flickered in her eyes. Yes, just like the other sisters. Zhao Ruoyo didn't like the brother they had just found. To be exact, it wasn't dislike. She resented that I had no desire to study. Then go ahead and withdraw from school. Zhao Ruoyo ignored what Professor Zhao just said, and instead spoke to me. Her tone was calm, without the slightest emotional fluctuation. So indifferent it was, as if the person in front of her had nothing to do with her at all. And indeed, that's exactly how she felt inside. I wasn't surprised at all by Zhao Ruoyo's attitude. In fact, I even felt a bit relieved. Thank goodness. Finally, someone normal. The sudden voice startled Zhao Ruoyo. She quickly looked around, her gaze ultimately landing on me, who hadn't said a word. The inner voice continued, just dropping out. Isn't that too lenient? Judging by how much Zhao Ruoyo dislikes me, she should have found an excuse to expel me outright. After all, having a brother riddled with negative press like me is a huge stain on her future. Let me think. What should I say to really piss off Zhao Ruoyo? Zhao Ruoyo stared at me for a long time, processing what she just heard, and confirmed that it was indeed my inner voice. She calmed herself down, gripping a pen with her slender fingers, to hide the emotions surging inside her. There was no time to wonder how she suddenly heard my thoughts. I spoke. Why didn't you defend me? You're my second sister, your family, and yet you're not even as good as this teacher. Hearing that, Professor Zhao at the side inexplicably felt proud. Straightening his back, Zhao Ruoyo pursed her lips, staring at me without responding. Are you even a professor, trying to expel me over something this small? What a loser. All those years of education went straight into a dog's belly, huh? Don't you know family is supposed to support each other? You want me to quit school? No way. And if you won't stand up for me, I'll go out and make a scene right now. I'll say you're a traitor, helping outsiders bully your own younger brother. Or I'll say you faked your academic credentials. After rattling off everything, I finished, and even raised my chin proudly at Zhao Ruoyo. I don't believe someone as proud as Zhao Ruoyo could endure what I just said. Professor Zhao and the student next to him were stunned by my words. Originally, they came here just to get me to apologize to his student. They never expected to witness a whole drama unfold. Professor Zhao looked at me, thinking to himself, this guy really is just like the rumors say. Zhao Ruoyo secretly took a deep breath. She didn't deny that if I had said these things earlier, she probably would have truly been infuriated, especially the accusation about academic fraud. That alone would have been enough for Zhao Ruoyo to do whatever it took to kick me out of school. But after hearing my inner thoughts, she, being clever, immediately realized something was off. Fine, I'll give you a chance to explain. Tell me exactly what happened from the beginning. Don't say I, as your second sister, didn't defend you later. I had already prepared myself to get scolded and continue being hated. Explain, my ass. Everything was normal just a moment ago. Why suddenly act out of character again? I really don't get it. Can't you just be like before? Blame everything on me, without caring who's right or wrong? The rest of the family being messed up is fine. But why does even Zhao Ruoyo have to start acting strange? Zhao Ruoyo listened quietly. She didn't know if she had a problem, but one thing was certain. This younger brother definitely did. After all my antics, Zhao Ruoyo no longer had the mood to deal with today's issue. She just gave a verbal apology to Professor Zhao's student. Seeing that the matter was about to be settled like this, I grew anxious like an ant on a hot pan. Why should I apologize? Are you that worthless? You just apologized to him. Did you even know what happened before apologizing? Weren't you cold and arrogant when dealing with me, your own brother, all high and mighty, but in front of others? You suddenly become so meek. Zhao Ruoyo, I really looked down on you. Shut up. Finally, Zhao Ruoyo couldn't hold back and snapped in a low voice. I was secretly delighted. She finally scolded me. Zhao Ruoyo's temples throbbed violently. Once again, she was sure this brother was insane. Zhao Ruoyo was so annoyed by me her head hurt. It was the first time she discovered how talkative I was. I told you to explain, and you said nothing. Then what do you want me to do? She said, gritting her teeth. I don't care how you handle it. That's your business. Not something I need to worry about. All I know is you didn't protect me. You let others bully me, and then even lowered your head to them. I was fully playing the role of a troublemaker, swearing to maximize Zhao Ruoyo's disgust from me. Sure enough, under my antics, a system notification suddenly rang in my head. System detects mission progress. Zhao Ruoyo's disgust increased by 2 points. That voice was pure heavenly music to my ears. After days of repeated setbacks, I was so excited I couldn't help but burst into laughter. The 3 people present all saw me suddenly laughing. They simultaneously assumed I had lost my mind. Professor Zhao's expression turned awkward. He turned and gave his student a look. The 2 quickly found an excuse to leave. Just as they stepped out of the office, Professor Zhao quietly said to his student, "Don't mess with him again. If you see him on the road, walk around him." As soon as he finished, the 2 looked up and saw someone already waiting outside the dorm. The boy's eyes lit up immediately. Su Wanli, why are you here? Professor Zhao quickly masked his awkwardness and greeted her with a smile. Su Wanli, she pretended not to hear the whisper between the 2 just now. She nodded at them calmly. I came to get my boyfriend for lunch, she said. Boyfriend? Professor Zhao had interacted with Su Wanli quite a bit. He had never heard she had a partner. He said in surprise, You're dating someone. Bring him around for me to meet next time. Just as he finished speaking, my voice came from behind. No need to wait. You can meet me now. Professor Zhao turned around. The smile on his face instantly disappeared. His eyes darted back and forth between me and Su Wanli. I walked over to Su Wanli with a grin on my face, took her hand, and glanced provocatively at that guy. That's right, I'm not just her boyfriend. I'm also her fiancé. Professor Zhao looked at Su Wanli blankly and blurted out, Were you threatened? His comment made Su Wanli almost laugh. She curled her lips slightly, a faint smile flickering in her eyes, light and playful. Professor Zhao, you're joking. The meaning behind her words was obvious to everyone. Professor Zhao instinctively wanted to say something, but swallowed his words when he saw me. But the boy standing behind him the whole time. After hearing with his own ears that Su Wanli acknowledged me as her boyfriend, felt like his entire world collapsed. He looked in disbelief at the pair, standing so intimately together.